I'm picking tomatoes again today. We got a lot of rain. It's drizzly right now, but I gotta get these picked. Got a couple there. Uh, where are you? Here's another one that's ripening. Okay, this one here cracked and it's just coming apart, and that's from all the rain. The vine takes up a lot of moisture, and the tomatoes split, and so sometimes rain is not a good thing for tomatoes. Okay, I don't see. I'll keep looking on these these beefsteaks. I don't see any. That one's okay. Nothing on the beefsteaks today. Okay, there's someone in the. Somebody's watching. And here's another cracked up tomato. I'll put that. I'm gonna make some stew tomorrow with carrots and potatoes and some meat I can find. And I'll put some of these cracked ones in it because they're not gonna keep. They're gonna be rotten if I just let them go sit on a table for a while. Here's another on these plants. Oh, there's a red one. Yeah, it's really the ones the ones that are getting ripe split easy when the get a lot of rain. Okay, looking around. This one here didn't split. It's got wormholes in it. Ooh, this one's pretty rotten. I'll cut what's good on it. Oh, hello. Here's a possum I got in my squirrel trap, and he won't go home. I got the cage propped open, and why don't you go home? Go home to your wife. I bet you're male. I wouldn't know, but why don't you go home? Go home to the kids. Well, 4 people may have seen the possum. Okay, done with those. And this volunteer tomato, it's got quite a few on it again, and it was looking really poor a few weeks ago. So it's come back. There's 7 people watching. Well, I better give them a show. Come and chat. Ask a question. These look good. And look at this big one. I think I'm gonna get you. It's just, well, I thought it was turning, but it's full sized. It's got a little crack I gotta watch for spoilage. That thing is really big. That's a volunteer tomato, just came up randomly. Now this one here, oh, it's got some rotten on it. Oh boy. Ugh. That might be for the chickens. I'll probably clean it up and use what I can. And this one here just, I never seen them explode like that after a rain. The vine takes up a lot of moisture after a long drought, and then it rushes to the tomatoes and they crack open. We've got 9 viewers. How much rain did you guys get? I'll go show them the rain gauge here in a minute. Yeah, it's too bad about, we're in East Tennessee in Sweetwater, but east of here and into North Carolina, they're just having a terrible time. I read somewhere that, or saw that they may have gotten 25 inches in places on where the storm was going up against the mountains, and lots of flooding, roads washed out, and they said like 55 deaths, 65 deaths already from the hurricane, and that's not good. And I saw in Florida there was some real bad damage, and I don't know where these if the deaths were more in Florida or up here locally, because some of these waters came up rather quick and it really got on the roads and in people's houses. And so, but we just got rain, lots of it, a little bit of wind that didn't do any damage. So, and that storm was supposed to track further west, and we might have gotten the the heavier rains and winds and stuff if it did track it differently. But it went to the east, and we got some winds, but not like some people did. And the rains. Those are ready. $12 viewers. Okay. Well, this bucket's getting kind of heavy. And here's these little bitty grape tomatoes. These are volunteer. I need to keep some of these for seed and maybe try to grow them again. Come on, little one. Ugh. Shoot, that one just doesn't want to get in my hand. Here, got a few of them. Okay. Look at this bush Goliath. There's one there, and there's some down there. Those are, oh, there's some big gob. There's a big gob down there. I gotta watch those. Whew. Okay, here's this really, oh, this one's ready. This volunteer is really old. Volunteer tomato was in the carrot row, and it's still, oh, there's another ripe one. Ooh, it's got rot. Ooh. Yeah, that's not pretty. That was probably for the chickens. What is this here? Oh, that's a Mr. Stripey. We got a Mr. Stripey getting ripe. Oh, there's some on the ground there. Got to keep them off the ground. They'll rot pretty easy. I'll get those later. Try to. It's supposed to. Well, I'm going to get this one. It looks right. I'll pick it. This one's kind of pinking up. And look at these bucket tomatoes. Oh yeah, there's this one that's cracked. Come and chat. Another one. These are these bucket tomatoes. I got some volunteer tomatoes and with some manure from the neighbors' chickens, and had a moderately successful, well, there's one right there right in plain sight. A moderately successful go of it. That's 16 people watching. That's awesome. I don't know, there must be nothing to do on a Sunday morning but watch someone out there in his garden getting soggy, picking tomatoes. This is a bush Goliath plant we've been getting tomatoes off of it since like May, and it's still going strong. There's a lot of them left. Okay, I think I've gone over all that. Go down here. These tomatoes at the end of the shed. There's one. Oh, a good number on here. Oh boy, there's going to be a lot of ones to get right in the Instapot and put in with some meat and some other vegetables, potatoes, onions, carrots, and tomatoes. Or if I have a lot to do, I might just run another chili. So I'm gonna have to decide what to do when I get these all picked. Might have to run another chili. That needs more tomatoes. And we're getting a bunch of these. Oh, that one came off, but yeah, this one here. That one's getting, let's see, as much worm damage as I've been spraying Captain Jack's BT Thuricide on these tomatoes, and it keeps the worms in check a little bit. Oh, there's one that got worm on it. But if I didn't spray, I bet these things would just be all ruined. Those can stay, I guess. I'll go back over here. Yeah. Okay. Here's another one that split. We might be working towards a chili instead of a stew. If I get enough tomatoes to mostly fill this pail, I got some ripe ones in the house, and if it fills the pail, I'm going to go towards doing another chili. I've been eating chili every day for probably a couple months. Just got to keep, as long as I keep producing, I'm going to keep making stuff. And that one's sort of ready. Okay, those, I'll go back over here. 16 people watching. And they don't want to chat. No one's chatting. And here's my trusty rain gauge. Hey, let's kind of go over here and do an official measuring. I get it up against a, it's right here. And geez, what's it? Is it third line up? And that's hard to see. It's 4 inches and maybe a little over 60. Like I might just say it was 462, 4 inches and 62 hundredths. Almost filled the gauge. This is a 6-inch gauge. It's tapered. It's a gauge I've had for since, gosh, I don't know, it was the 1980s, and it's beaten up. It needs a good cleaning, but it still works. Okay. I think I got 1 or 2 more. Ooh, I see a ripe one over here, back on the bush Goliath. Well, that's good. And here's my super successful tomato hill that I dug up volunteer tomatoes, and they were growing in the corn row, and I brought them over here, and this one did the most production, I think, and there's a whole bunch more growing on it. Oh, you're just close enough. And one of these has a lot of large tomatoes. It's been producing rather well. Almost got a half a pail. Then you got a little orange, you pick it. Because there's bugs. Rain will make it split. And just pathogens out here. Lots of humidity will make it rot easier. I think I'm done with it. If I took the vine and strung it out, it would be probably 10 foot in length. That's a long tomato plant. I think I got 16 viewers. I've dropped to 14. I must have bored them. Oh, there's a nice red one on this volunteer tomato. There's some more. And some more. About half a pail. I pick them about every 3 to 4 days. And here's another volunteer that had a couple large ones, and there's some little. It's not in good shape right now. So that's it for the tomatoes. I'll go inside the house and put them on the table to ripen, sort them out. Then we might go look at the bunnies. There's a little booger right. My toilet tomato. I need to weed it. All right. Hope it's not locked. It's dark in here. Okay. Get a good light. And here's the riper ones from other pickings. I'll make a spot for these new ones. And that one's fine. That one's split. All the split ones get sorted out. That one's fine. That one's good. Split. Good. Some of these are just... I might have to clean that up this morning. Oh, it's a mess. That one looks okay. Ooh, that one's nasty. Why'd I bring it in here? That's a split one. This one here, I'll put in the splits because it's got an injury. It had this injury for like a month, and it hasn't changed. All these splitties. Yep, rain does a number on that. I knew it was going to happen. My last picking was before this tropical storm came running up here, and because I knew they were going to split if I left them, so I picked as... Oh boy, that one's needs some work. Here's another one. Oops, why I'm putting them in the wrong place. It's got seeds on. Boy, what a mess. And gosh, yeah, these can have to be used up right away. That one there. 17 watching. Why is 17 people watching? This is the most boring thing ever. But just keep watching. Okay. Maybe there's people that got their power back or saying, "Wow, look at this. I can watch YouTube again." Why'd I put that over here? That's kind of scarred. Yeah, half of these are split. And that's split too. Boy, this one's a nightmare. There's a couple exploders. Just clean them up, throw them in the, grind them up, throw in the pot. There's another splitty. Hopefully next time there's less of these splits. Here's another one. Ugh. And I throw these little guys down. So, okay, that's, and I'll look these over. Well, that needs to be run tomorrow. Yeah, that looks fine. Looking for, if there's something starting to rot, I'll take to the fridge for until tomorrow. I don't see much. That's really a mess. Oop, this one goes back over here. Okay, let's go back outside. 20 people watching. Okay. Well, 10 people watching. Whoa. It's just a thing. Okay. Let's go look at the bunnies. Hey, white rooster. Oh, don't pick on him, dogs. He deserves it. Crow. There he goes. For a little guy, he's a loudmouth. I'm gonna look at these chickens. What you guys up to? The other day, I was out in the rain, and I think I just grabbed a dozen eggs from the neighbor's chickens, and there's been two getting out all the time, and they were starting to get in the garden and eating tomatoes and digging around, and I was getting kind of, I don't know, not upset, but annoyed by what they're doing. And I found out how they were getting out. Where is that? Don't fight me. I'm showing YouTubers. They were pushing this chicken wire out and getting out and causing trouble. So I'll get this put back. So the chickens haven't been getting out. And there's a bunch of eggs being kicked around. I don't know what's going on. Hey, big rooster, why don't you crow, young guy? Okay. $20 viewers, just in time for the bunnies, if I can get in that cage. If they don't scare me. If they don't get... Trying to open this. Okay, come on now. Wait, I'm just being impatient. Yeah, this winter I'm going to take a lot of this chicken litter and just cover the entire garden. And that's one of the best fertilizers. Let's see if I can open this. This is not the best. I got it open. Slow it, bunnies. Slow your roll. Come on. Here's the neighbor's bunnies. They're getting full grown. The bunny scared half of my viewers. I don't know. Why would it go from 12 to 22? And you're chewing on my sandal. Yeah, that's kind of freaky. So, YouTube is acting like Rumble today. Rumble would last a couple weeks on someone's live stream, be watching, and it'd be jumping from their actual viewers to like thousands and thousands more than they're actually getting. And YouTube is usually pretty accurate with their live stream count, but it jumped from 20 to 12 real quick, and it was I was like I saying, why is it acting like Rumble? Because usually it just kind of goes, just steady stream up or down on numbers. Hey, mommy, you okay with everything, mom? You ate some of my corn. I saw you back in the spring. It ate some corn. Where's Daddy? Which one's Daddy? Are you Dad? You might be Dad. See, these little ones are getting, I think that's Dad. Yeah, that's Dad. He's got kind of a split face. Maybe a split personality would go with it. And this is like 10 babies. No, that's not Dad. That one's bigger than Dad now. Jesus, that'll be a 15-pound rabbit. It looks like it's gonna be huge. Its ears are really big, so the bunny will catch up to the ears when it gets to be an adult. Hey, are you sweet? You're getting a little bit friendlier. Are you sweet? Yeah, these views have been jumping back and forth. It's kind of weird. Maybe it's my phone. Maybe it's my phone. My phone's being weird. Maybe nobody's watching. Yeah, it goes from 9 to 19. That's weird. That's not normal. So I don't know how many's watching. What you doing? It's Duck Master. Well, we got ducks. I don't know, Duck Master's into ducks or what? And I don't know what WSC means. WSG. I'm gonna have to Google that. It's short for something. So I'm in the bunny pen, the neighbor's bunnies, just showing what these bunnies are up to. If you're gonna pick on me, I'm gonna pet you. You got a cute tail. Now I'm starting to notice that some of these young bunnies are getting, their sizes are different. There's some bigger ones and some smaller ones because the parents are actually really pretty. Like the male here in the corner is, well, it's not half the size. It's a third smaller, and the mommy's rather large. And so the babies are starting to genetically be the differential. They're being different. Some of them will take the trait from the dad in size, and some will take the mom in size. And there might be, if she keeps them here long enough, because I know if she keeps them long enough, there's going to be more bunnies. That's what bunnies do. I mean, it could be, if she won't do this, but over about, let's say about 6 months, there'll be 50 more bunnies, because they're half. If they, let's say there's 30 bunnies, and then another year there'll be, oh my gosh, there'll be hundreds of bunnies. So, and she doesn't know what she's gonna do with this. I saw the neighbor here a couple weeks ago, and she says, "You know what's gonna happen?" She said, "You know what's gonna happen?" And I said, "Well, there's gonna be more bunnies." And that's what she was. Instead of me asking, "What are you gonna do with these guys?" They're gonna make more bunnies. What? I didn't do that. My wife came down with some bait, not bait, but something to lure the possum out of the cage, and I don't know if it's happening or not. I'm gonna look at hey, Bigfoot, you got big feet. You got big feet. You're pretty cool bunnies. You got enough feed? They were really cute about a month or so ago. now they're still cute, but they're big and cute. I should have came down here and made more friends with you guys, but it was so hot in the summer. Hey, Daddy. Hey, Daddy-O. Yes, you were hard to get caught. Daddy-O. You were trouble. She had trouble catching this one male to keep out of my garden. It's all right. I'm gonna leave you guys be. Look at these chickens again. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to. I have to put the phone down. Yep. I'll be back. That's not the best latch. It's hard to open, which is a good thing. This latch here is really cool. You just lift this little toggle, pull out, it's open. So you can have stuff in your hands and get in here. What are you guys doing? Your eggs are yummy. Yeah, that's what I might have after when the Broncos are getting blasted by the Jets. I may make some eggs at halftime or something, or after they lose, and what do you see? These chickens make that sound when there's something threatening them, and I don't see a bird or anything. I don't see a hawk. They lost one to a hawk during the summer, and they built this. They had this whole area over here was their pen, and they built this pretty cool cage to keep them in, and they were getting out all the time. They were flying out, and she had to round them up all the time. And what? You want to fight? You really want to fight? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, look at him. He's throwing your spikes at me. No! I'm done with you. I am done with you. You're going to backstab me if I move. Watch him backstab me. Dirty. Hey, that hurts. You stay in there. I'll put you in with the other chickens and they'll beat the crap out of you. And there goes George barking. There. Backstabber. Okay. I'm going back to the garden. Give an update on the rest. Bore the crap out of these 21 viewers. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done. And here's their ducks. There's look like there's 2 full-blooded mallards and like domesticated ducks mixed. There's one that looks like is a mix of a mallard and domesticated, and there's a white ones, which is obviously a domesticated duck. And they're kind of cool. I read that hawks don't mess with ducks. They'll get attacked. So, hi George, neighbor's dog. Hey, I got a thumbs up. George, you got a thumbs up. George, you got a thumbs up. I don't know if there's 24 watching or 2 watching. Here's a little pumpkin, squash, whatever. And it may turn enough for Halloween, turn yellow. Okay, I'm done with. I'll just go. Feels good out. It's quit drizzling. And here's this tomatillo. It's got a little fruit inside this little tent thing with a husk. They also call them husk tomatoes. I've been putting those in my chili because I've been getting a lot of them ripe. I may break down and make salsa verde because that's what they're commonly used in. So, get some ambition. Might do something with that. Okay, that's been covered. Here's a marigold that's in the shady part of the shed, and it's finally starting to bloom. It'll bloom. Well, it's going to have really trouble because that sun angle, that what do you call it, the 4 p.m. sun, is not here anymore. So it's going to have a hard time with, and the morning sun's not even here. So it probably doesn't get any more sun. Who knows what it's going to do through the fall. Is it going to bloom or not? Bloom more. And here's a little pumpkin. And here is an experiment I did, and I finally got, I tried cabbage in the late summer one other time, and I had a bug problem. Now I don't because of Captain Jack's Thuricide, BT Thuricide. And if you got cabbage, the cabbage family, I forgot what they called that. And it works well on those. So, And I might, and this one's starting to head up. It's starting to produce a head. And I'm gonna, very likely, gonna have a, ooh, those look good. I'm gonna have a head off of this flat Dutch cabbage here, like November into December, because cabbages can take a lot of frost and keep growing. And these look good. These are nightshade berries. They're edible. They're a native to North America, and they're in the tomato family, and they're edible, and they're sweet. Oh yeah, that one's pretty good. And there's some more. Well, that one's not sweet. I'll pick one here. Nothing's not that good either. Well, oh, there's some down here. Oh, that first group was really tasty, but now, those are. Oh, I forgot some tomatoes. Where is something that looks, well, those are pretty good there. And here is a cantaloupe, is a volunteer plant. Yeah, and it was growing in where I planted corn, so I left it. And I already had a nice cantaloupe off of this plant, and it's putting out another one. And it's fairly good sized. It should ripen here a few weeks. And I forgot to pick these tomatoes. And they're split too, of course, a lot of them. Yeah, there's another two. I wonder if I can grab these without dropping them. Oh, I knocked one down. Here's another one. Here. There's always, don't throw stuff away. Here's a planter, something. This is probably tomato, had tomato in it or something this spring, and I just tossed it, and there's so many of them on the ground. Oh, there's another one. So I got a few more off of Hugh. Okay, let's go look at these other things. 26 viewing. Maybe it's. Here's this bumpy squash. It was hanging on this fence, and it actually, that plant's probably, it's probably dead. It's plant died, and it let go of the fence. and the squash is on the ground. I got it off the ground to keep from rotting. I might let it go a little bit, a week or two, and I'll cut that off, because it's not getting anything from the. I see a tomato here. There's a tomato, a yellow tomato, a green tomato off the yellow tomato plant that's got through the fence, and I didn't know it was there, so I'll remember that one. Okay. And here's this long squash. It's starting to turn a little. It may get yellow. That might be a cool jack-o'-lantern. Where could I put these? I'll just set these there and go on. Okay, let's go over here. I don't see any fruits on that. I'm looking at this really late. Yeah, you're not gonna do anything. This one is not healthy looking. All this rain may help it, but there's so many of these white flies that are, and it's getting late in the year, and I think that one's not gonna put on a fruit. Very, very likely now. Let's see if I can get these tomatoes. Go on the other side. And here's this other marigold next to the tomatoes. That's kind of pretty. It's red. There's a lot of red in. These are volunteer. I planted some marigolds like 6 years ago in planters on the front side of the house. They washed down, the seed washed down, and they've been growing in the garden for several years. Oh boy. These I'm worried about. Well, I'll pick some more tomatoes. So I'm gonna get these off the ground. This one. Oh, jeez. I know what to do. I'm gonna do it with people who are live streaming. I'm gonna do some work. I don't know if people are watching or not. This counter here this viewer counter is kind of suspicious. It says 22. I need some people to chat. Okay. I can do this one-handed, I think. I'll use this baby mat to get these tomatoes. I'm gonna put the phone down for a sec. You stay up. There, that looks better. Oh, see, there's a rotten tomato there that it was laying on the ground. I don't know if it was because it was on the ground or what, but it rotted. You know, I got these up off the ground and they should be okay. Oh boy. Look on this next plant. And here's this 3-year-old cabbage. It's gonna probably, I don't know what kind of winter we're gonna get. It may live to next year. There's 2 plants here. I think there's 2. That one's one there. That one looks, this really looks, you can actually take these leaves and cut, and it'd be kind of like collards if you cook them. They're a little strong, but they're pretty good to eat. There's a tomato on the ground. I'll just bring you up and put, oh, you broke off. All that work for, jeez. Here's another one. It was so rusty looking that I didn't even see it. I'll just try to get them. It's too much work to properly hang them. It's late in the year. They ain't gonna do. There's some scarring on that. Gonna have to watch it for spoilage. Okay. I'll go back over here and put it in the bucket. Is this on the ground? Those aren't on the ground. They'll if they're touching the soil, they'll definitely rot. Here's a pretty nice looking squash. It's on its way turning yellow. It was from a volunteer plant that came out of the first corn. And there's several plants that got a good 4 to 5 pumpkins off of. And look for more trouble. Here's another tomatillo I gotta watch it for having stuff on the ground because they'll rot too. And here's another cantaloupe from the original hill that was up there. It's fairly good size. I might have a couple little cantaloupes here in mid-October, November even. Wonder if these are any good. These are nightshade berries that the stems stay on. So I have to. That tastes pretty good. Well, I dropped one, of course. Those are pretty good eating. Nice. They're tart and sweet. I need to come down here and work this bush over. To watch you. You got some kind of blemishes or scarring. It's a volunteer tomato that just grew right up in next to the fence. And I wove it in the fence. And there's four tomatoes there, one here. So it's getting more tomatoes. And here's my bean vine. This is a single plant. It's crawling all over. It's crawling on the tomato cage. It's crawling on the opposite of the fence tomato cages. And it was a plant that came up voluntarily. I planted a row of beans up here in this upper garden, and a plant on the end crawled the fence, and it was a lot bigger. It climbed clear over to that bush and had beans on it, and it was probably another several feet that way, and it had beans all fall last year, just all late summer and fall. And this one here is kind of taken after. I'm gonna go show something. And this plant is sort of taken after its parent, and it It took forever to get to the fence. It was like 2 feet away from the fence, and I let that vine string and grow, and it finally wrapped onto the fence. But it got on the fence and grew a whole lot, but it didn't have any blossoms until, oh, maybe a month or so ago. Now it's got plenty of blossoms. It's putting out a lot of beans. We already had a pot of beans from this plant, and they were pretty good. And I got some picked again, so there might be another pot of beans later. And here's a pumpkin that's just on the fence hanging, and its stem is strong enough to hold it so far. And here's a pumpkin. This one's starting to turn. Probably in another week I'll cut it. This could be a nice jack-o'-lantern. It was hanging on the fence, but it was heavy, and it broke down, and it sat on this board, and it's doing good. It's not going to rot if it's... Okay, done with the upper garden. It's not very pretty this time of year, but it's still got a lot of things going on. Let's try these berries. Did I? Not quite as sweet. Eight viewers. Well, we'll see. Then I'll jump up to 20. It's 50. There's something wrong with my phone. I had 8 viewers, and then it went to 15. Yeah, there's a possum. So I don't like that. I'm pretty sure it's the phone doing this. It's having erratic live stream numbers. And here's this cabbage here. This hill of cabbage was the 3rd planting. I brought one down. I transplanted it down here. It died, and then I put some more seed down, and they didn't come up. So I put a 3rd group of seed, and it grew. There's about 3 cabbages down there, and I need to dig one up and move it, but I might not. I might be. I just got to think of doing it. It's going to be very delicate because they're close together to move one. And here is another cabbage like the ones up above. It's really doing good. It's got less sun than up there, so I kind of wanted to do it as an experiment, bring some cabbage down here and see how they work during the fall. I see another ripe tomato. Ripening. Here's another pumpkin. I have a pumpkin hill from volunteers. And here is oh boy, that's getting big. This is off the same vine, but the second pumpkin is considerably larger. I hope it's still on that rock. If they're not on top of a dry surface, they'll rot. And I'll go around, I guess. There's 12 years or not. I got a thumbs up at least. And here's another squash that came from what hill was that? I think it was that hill. Or, wait a minute. I forgot how many hills I got down here. One, okay, there was just two. Yeah. It started over there and it's over here. And I wasn't very sure it was going to put a fruit on. Really? You need to go. You're not very smart. The possum needs to go. He'll go by tonight. Maybe he likes it. Okay. Another little late pumpkin growing. It probably won't be, it's still growing. Very likely it won't be right by Halloween. Here's a real cute one hanging between these tomato cages. There's a funny looking, I'll go around and look at it. These vines have really broken down over the last couple weeks. See? I have to go clear around to see this other pumpkin or whatever's going on up there. Here's a pumpkin here that it's got a tapered end. It's not jack-o'-lantern friendly. Here's the beans on this side. And it's not, that one there is, a lot of these have a very long time in turning yellow, these pumpkins. And I think this funny one is not gonna, I'm gonna go through here. Gotta lift the tomatoes and not step on the bean vine. Oh, there's a tomato fell off. Those are pretty good. This little beefsteak, there's going to be a few tomatoes. This plant wasn't looking very good a while back. And here's on that one, there's tomatoes. Since it's rained a lot, these later tomatoes are probably going to do reasonably well. I wasn't going to water them. Okay, I'm going to show this. Where is that? I almost tripped over it. This is the bean vine. The bean started right. Is that the... Yeah, look how thick that is. The vine goes up and spreads out along the fence. Don't break. And here are the giant Marconi peppers. I picked a bunch. I picked a good 8 before it rained, and this plant's really loaded. It's got 8 or so on it, maybe 10. I see more over there. It's pretty loaded. And here's a pumpkin it's got some discoloring on it. This is sunburn. I'm trying to turn it. That's gonna be a nice tall jack-o'-lantern that ever pans out. There's the other, just another giant Marconi. It was tall as me, but it tipped over, and it's fine. Just keep is this one on the ground? Keep the peppers off the ground and they won't rot as much. This one's got a good 10 on it. And this is this plant here. Are you touching? Yes. Well, I'll be creative and get it off the ground and use other plants to kind of prop it. And here's this. Oh, that one's got a. Oops. I don't know if this works with. That one's got a spoiled spot. I'm gonna have to pull that one out of there pretty quick. So, giant Merconis, I'm gonna have to start cutting them up and freezing them because we're getting too many. All right. A little itty tiny pumpkin. Marigold bush. I wish it would stay up, hold up, and be more like circular. But it looks pretty good anyway. These are more yellow. All yellow. And here's the sweet potatoes. They're purple sweet potatoes. There's 4 hills. And kind of up through here is where the row is. But they have spread out over where there was other stuff during the spring and summer. And like last week I said, there was another groundhog incident. And the vines have pretty much recovered where the groundhog was eating it. But the groundhog has not recovered. He's sleeping down there. I caught him and I did away with him, and he's taking a nap probably for a long time. And this thing is getting big. Here's the 3rd squash on this plant here. It's a volunteer plant that it came up kind of close to the watermelons. Instead of just chopping it out, I let it. And there's 3 pretty nice. Those are going to be. What I like to do is, boy, what was that? Had a glitch. 73 minutes. Oh my. What I like to do with these, if they get yellow, I would like to make, I make jack-o'-lanterns. There's the Canadian characters, the Canadian characters on South Park. I take them and carve them out to look like them. Like there's Phil and what's the other guy? Terrence. And I would put their letter on their shirt on the jack-o'-lantern, and they look super cool. So if these get yellow, those are really perfect for more South Park characters. I've done Cartman. I've done Butters as a jack-o'-lantern, and I've done I did Candy. Candy's kind of hard to do, but I've tried it a couple times, and it sort of works. And here's this pumpkin here that it shouldn't even exist because this plant tried to die several times, and there was drought, like a good month and a half of no rain, and it made it through, and it grew clear up here. It started right down there where those tomatoes are, and it's the original part of it died out. These vines crawl and they root down off the vine, and it survived, and we got a nice little pumpkin here out of all that trouble. So that one's still going. I think it's done growing. I think this is the very close to the size it's going to be, which is a nice little jack-o'-lantern size. May turn color before. I definitely want to get that one to jack-o'-lantern because that was kind of a miracle that the plant survived. So We're about done here, and this is, look at these sweet potatoes, purple sweet potatoes with a train. And they really have, if anything, we had a very pretty blossoms on it. And I have no idea what, since they're massive, since the vines are massive, I have no idea how many sweet potatoes are under. Are they? I asked Nana how do they bear tubers, and she said it's like a half a dozen around where the hill is, where you put the slip. A slip is like a cutting. You take, I haven't done this yet, but I take a cutting and they stick it in dirt and it roots on its own, and then you have a sweet potato. Before fall, I may take one of these, I may make a cutting and I'll put in dirt and try to stick it in a window somewhere and see if it'll grow in the winter a little bit. And then if it survives, I'll stick it in the ground after frost. And it's probably something that won't work, but it could work. But then you'll have a very established sweet potato ready to get in the ground early and then get those potatoes going early. These were planted in June. They were kind of late, but boy, they made up for time. They got completely chopped off by groundhogs, and the groundhogs, they went to sleep. And they grew again, and then I had another groundhog incident, and now we're good. And they said that when the leaves start turning yellow, it's time to dig, and I don't see any of that. So I don't know what encourages them to turn yellow, because they look super healthy. All these light colored greens, this is new growth, and they're trying to get to the sun. And I'm excited that there's going to be a lot of sweet potatoes, because they may have crawled out and then they sent runners, but also they would put tubers out in this other area. So purple sweet potatoes. Never grew sweet potatoes. They're just fun to look at. So Jim Miller's garden for September 29th, 2024. I'm going to go in and have some chili. I got one little bowl of chili to eat before I make something else. Tomorrow, I'll thaw something out, and with those very questionable tomatoes, I'll cut the bad spots off, and I'll make something tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be a stew or a chili. I think I'm leaning back to stew, because I need to get some carrots used up. They're starting to grow a little bit in the fridge, so I'm leaning back to stew. But they're going to have this stew is going to have a significant amount of tomato juice in it, so I'll just go with I'll try it and see what happens. All right, Jim Miller's garden. 2 viewers. I bored the crap out of people. But at one time I may have had 22 viewers, and I like doing this on Sunday, so come and join me every Sunday, and get a good look at this garden and whatever critters not going home. Go home. What is this? Okay. Jim Miller's garden. See you next week.